of what Eliyahu Navi told Rabbi Yehuda, the brother of Salah Hasidah. What does he say? He says, "Lo, don't get angry, and you won't sin." Right? His lashon is. Let me read it. Lo tirtach velo techete. Don't become angry and don't sin. When someone has a temper issue, okay, which is very common, when someone has a temper issue, they become someone else. And in that moment, they're not themselves. They say things that they regret afterwards. They do damage to people around them that is irreversible. And this idea of anger, it's really something that a person loses control. It's extremely extreme. It just takes over. And that's why what he's saying is that it's as a prophet almost, but like this going straight to its core. If you don't want to make mistakes, control your anger. How it's so powerful because in this one thing you really are able to control your entire emotional well-being. In the Igeret Ramban, the Ramban explains that anger is the source of sin. And so one way to counteract that is by keeping his voice calm. When someone keeps their voice calm, they keep their body calm, they're able to control their emotions more. Someone raises their voice. Raising your voice is extremely dangerous because that leads into anger, and that leading into anger leads into sin, leads into the next thing. Okay, what happens if you have a temper issue? What do you guys think? Let's talk about it. Let's say you have a temper problem. Let's say you've become angry. You've had your outburst. You need anger management. What do you do? After. Yeah, after the fact. In the moment, sorry, you're done. There's nothing you can do in the moment. It's very hard. What do you do tomorrow morning or the next morning when I realize, man, I messed up and I don't want this to happen again? Pray. Pray is good. You ask Hashem, Ribono Shel Olam, help me not to get angry again. Yeah, you say you do teshuvah. You do teshuvah because, as the Rambam tells us in Hilchot Teshuvah, that having bad midot is also an avon. It's not just doing the sin, but having bad midot is in and of itself a sin. So you need to do teshuvah. What else? Go to see a therapist? Yeah? If it's really bad, a person needs to work on it. That means he has to work. And if that means speaking to a therapist, if that means doing meditation, if it means doing deep breathing, if it means taking some pills, people do it. People take pills. Yeah, drink some alcohol. Yeah, yeah. So for that, Eliyahu Navi is a Navi. He knew that you were going to say that. So he said, but by the way, don't get drunk. Yeah, no, but okay. But even that, if a person needs to take a break, a person needs to take a smoke, these things are bad for you to take a smoke or to take a drink. But if that's what's going to calm him down from this, I guess you're leaving one dangerous thing and entering another thing. A person needs to be able to control his emotions. It's very difficult. Yeah, of course, this is all over Pirkei Avot. Pirkei Avot speaks about this all the time.
Does Chazal like describe anything from themselves about managing like your emotions or like having issues like this?
So, okay, very good. So Chazal, about anger, there's a lot of negative written about it. Like, kol hakoes, kol mine gehinam shotim bo. It's like someone it's like avodah zarah. Someone who gets angry, it's like a form of avodah zarah. Why is it avodah zarah? Why is it a form of idol worship? Because one of the explanations, like the Mussar behind it, is why are you becoming angry? Because you're upset about what's going on. But who's running this world? This person? Someone cut you off. You're driving. Someone cut you off. You become furious. You road rage. These people do crazy things. You know what people will do? People will then go, drive, go over the shoulder, go in front of the person, go here, open the window, bang, 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 try to break something, break the wrist. What are you doing? Okay, so wherever you wanted to get to, you got there 3 seconds later. But in the moment, we lose control. Men have this more. Men have the raging testosterone. Women have it also. There's some women that have some anger issues. But men have it a lot. And it could be whoever. The point is that it's natural and you have to work against it. The point is that you need to do something. You need to do something. Now, what that is number one, learning Mussar. Like the Ramban tells us, a person needs to work on keeping his voice calm. And this is something that maybe we know, but if don't ever raise your voice. You know what's very aggravating? Having a conversation with someone and they keep talking over you. They keep talking over you, keep talking over you. So what are you going to do? You want to make yourself heard. So you're going to start raising your voice. But now that you're raising the volume, guess what? You're also raising the temperature. This is what the Ramban tells us. As you raise the volume, you raise the temperature. And as you raise the temperature, now you start to lose control. Don't play that game. The person's not letting you speak, then you very firmly say, please let me finish. But not to start getting into a raging shouting match. Because what happens is you lose yourself. This is one idea the Ramban tells us. The other idea is accepting that Ribbono Shel Olam is running the world. Why am I becoming upset? Because I'm upset at the outcome, so I'm becoming angry. But understand that Ribbono Shel Olam is running the world. That's why the Chazal tell us that it's a form of Avodah Zarah, because it's like not accepting God as Hashem. There's all other sorts of things a person has to do to make sure that he doesn't get angry, which is extremely critical. Yeah, you have this.
Logic of worrying.
Ah, okay, anxiety. Anxiety. It's not really related, but yes, for sure. In this, there's a book called The Anxious Generation. Everyone, the youth, the Gen X or Gen Z, I don't know the difference. I think it's millennials, Gen Z, and Gen X. Whatever it is, everyone has anxiety, everyone has depression. The stats are crazy how common this is. Where does this all come from? What's clear, that's not clear. But what's clear is that the stats are wild. Look at this charts. I have this book by Jonathan Haidt of the anxious generation. You know what? Let me just see anxious generation graphs. Let me see if I could find. Hey, Google is forcing its anxious generation AI mode graphs. Let me see if I can find the graphs for a second. Here we go. Look at this. Look at this. Open image. I'm going to share link for everyone who wants to see it. Share. Look at this. Mental illness amongst college age students. Okay. So this right here, by the way, this is dated. I think this is as of 2019 or 2019. This means that 25% of undergraduates, 25% of US college students have anxiety. And that was 134 increase from 2010, which means 2010 it was about 10%, and then it's 25%. And I think the numbers are even higher now. This is as of 2019. COVID, the numbers went over 100%. More people had anxiety than people who existed. It's not possible. But the crazy numbers that took over. Depression, 20%. You know what that means? Shalom Eda. We have more than 4 or 5 people in this room. That means 1 or 2 of us suffer from anxiety and depression. 1 or 2 of us. Why? That's just the way the numbers go. So to your point, how does someone deal with this? Of course, there are times, I will say, as an education professional, you can't say everything is in your head. There are certain people that have mental illness. There are certain people that have chemical imbalance. There are certain people that are struggling with bipolar. There are certain people that are struggling with, it could be all sorts of things. And you need to go see a doctor. And there are certain people that whatever it is, there's some psychiatric issue. And what they need to do is they need to take a pill. They need to take medicine. They need to take a relaxant because otherwise there's nothing they can do. It's not in their control. So I have to say that. We're not saying everything is Mussar. You can't just learn the Ramban and sometimes a person needs to see a doctor. Okay? But a lot of it is in our heads. And a lot of it is being able to accept Hashem, accept the world around us, accept that Ribbono Shel Olam is running the world. We do our best and Hashem is supporting us. Ribbono Shel Olam takes care of us. And I have a story about this to share, but you have a comment? I'm going to say the story of the Chavetz Chaim in a minute.
Mom have like his own prescription of how to balance yourself. Like you're at one extreme, you got to the other, and kind of meet yourself in the middle.
Very good. Very good. The Ramban speaks about the Shvil HaZahav, the golden mean. And he says when it comes to all of the midot, being at any extreme is a problem. So being overly anxious and worrying about everything is a problem. But also being completely carefree. You know what the opposite of having anxiety is being reckless. Being negligent. You don't think about anything. There's a guy who's driving that's driving like this. But then there's someone who's driving that's driving like this. They're both a problem. Because what's going to happen is both of them are going to get in an accident. Doesn't matter if you're looking this way, anxiety on 100%, or eyes closed, chill, hakuna matata. No worries. Hakuna Matata, you're going to get in a car accident. Okay, it's Hakuna Matata. It's a great phrase for after the fact something happens, you accept that Ribono Shel Olam did this. By the way, it's one of my mottos. I do say Hakuna Matata, and it's very helpful. But that's after the fact. Before the fact, you need to think about things. You need to make sure you're making the right decisions. You need to think about whether you're being prudent. For sure, you need to. So, like you said, there's a balance. Some anxiety and prudence is important because if you don't have that, you're being negligent. So you do need a balance of it. The Chavetz Chaim says the following mashal. He says the following mashal that once there was a guy who's driving in a car who is hitchhiking. He's on the side of the road and he has 4 bags of luggage and he needs a ride. So he's putting his arm out trying to catch a ride. And someone is going by, and as they're going by, they see him, they pull over, they say, "Where are you going?" He says, "I'm going to this place." He's like, "I'm going to the same place." And he says, "I have all of these bags, I can't walk." And he says, "I have space. You could come in, I'll give you a ride all the way exactly to where you want." This person is so thankful. Thank you so much. Thank you. You don't know, you're saving me. I had to be there by this time. Everything, just like thinking, gets inside the car, pulls up, takes the one luggage, puts it on his lap, takes the other luggage, puts it on his lap, takes the other bag, puts it on his back, takes the last one, puts it on his head, and sits like this. And the driver says, there's a trunk. What are you doing? He says, "No, no, 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 no. Don't worry. I'm going to be like this." He's like, "What do you're out of your mind. Why are you putting your luggage all over you?" He says, "Look, you've done so much kindness for me by giving me a ride. I don't want you to have to give a ride to my luggage. Don't worry. This I'll take care of." Are you crazy? Your luggage is coming with us. You think by taking all of this on yourself, you're making things any better? No, you're just adding weight to yourself for absolutely nothing. The Chavetz Chaim says the same is true when a person worries about everything. Ribono Shel Olam is taking care of you. From the moment we're born, we have what to eat, we have what to drink, we have what to breathe. In the womb, we weren't eating, we weren't drinking, we weren't breathing. We weren't. We come out, all of a sudden it all works. All of a sudden, Hashem provides through the mother, who's now all of a sudden is able to nurse and to provide for the child's sustenance. All of a sudden, the child opens up his mouth and starts breathing. From the moment we're born, we're taken care of. And as we grow, our needs and the things that we need from our body, we eat something, the body knows how to differentiate. This is good, this is bad. Keep this, give the nutrition throughout my body. This, spit out. The body knows that. You don't need to think about which part of the food is good or bad. You don't need to filter it out. Ribono Shel Olam is taking care of you. And now you want to take it, but I worry about this, I worry about this, I worry about this, I worry about this. Ribono Shel Olam, the driver is looking at you and he's like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you carrying all of this weight on yourself? You could put it in the trunk. I'm here." Does that mean you shouldn't be prudent? Of course not. Does that mean you could drive with your eyes closed? Of course not. But there's a balance. There's a balance. And the balance is I I think things through. I'm prudent. I'm careful. I make the right decisions. But there are certain things that I have to accept from Ribono Shel Olam. And so this is definitely part of how we deal with anger. Part of how we deal with anger and with anxiety is knowing that what are you going to get angry about? This guy, I want to let you guys into a small story, and then we'll end up with this. I didn't even get to talk about drinking. You guys are lucky. You have one more week, okay? You have one more week, and then no more Kiddush Club. But for one, I want to tell you an amazing story. I told this to my son Shai. He was dying of laughter. What happened is there's one older gentleman. We're not going to say any names. That I've seen him driving in the car, honking at people, just left and right, just honking. Like someone is like at a stop sign, gets there, honk. The guy's down the block honking. Okay, so I've seen it. So I once told myself that if anyone, this is how one of the ways I deal with anger. I told myself that if anyone's ever honking at me, like in an obnoxious way, obviously if it's a way that something is dangerous, good. But if someone ever honks at me in an obnoxious way, I'm gonna, in my mind, imagine it's him. Because all of a sudden it just becomes hilarious. Okay, I don't want you to know who I'm talking about. You might know who I'm talking about. It's someone that maybe you know. And if you're in Great Neck on the roads, you might hear this person. But I just told myself that if it's him, it's hilarious. So that's what I do. And so it happens. Sometimes someone like just honking in my mind is him, and it's just I laugh. Okay, that's how I deal with it. Last week, 2 weeks ago, Friday afternoon, I was driving home. on right before Shabbat, I'm in a rush to get home. Okay, I'm not like taking it slow. I got to a stop sign. You know, you got to do a one Mississippi, two Mississippi. I was at one Mississippi, someone behind me honking that I'm at a stop sign, honking like crazy. And I'm like, what is going on? And I look at my rear view and it's the guy. It's him. It's actually him. And I said, Baruch Hashem, that was actually the best thing that could have happened to me. And it actually happened that this guy letting out his road rage onto me, it's hilarious. It was, you don't know, it made my Shabbat. And I told this to Shai. I told this to Shai that you know what? Sometimes that something's gonna make you angry, and you get to choose. You get to choose how you respond. And this is how I decided I'm gonna choose. I decided that someone's gonna give me a reason to be angry. I'm going to flip it, and I'm gonna have a laugh out of it. And Ribono Shel Olam, I think, accepted my message, and that's why he sent him to me. He sent him to me, and he said, "It's a good idea. What you're doing is a good idea." These are things that you have to do. You have to. Anger destroys people's lives. It destroys shidduchim. It destroys homes. It destroys relationships with parents. It destroys relationships with kids. It destroys everything. If someone has a mental issue, they need to get help for it because it's going to be a burden for everyone else around them, and you're going to be destroying your lives and their lives with you. And if someone doesn't have a mental issue, they just have this anger issue, fix it. How? I'm not saying it's easy, but it takes mussar, it takes meditation, it takes therapists, it takes learning emunah. It takes these games and these gimmicks of like trying to find things that where you calm yourself down. It takes not raising your voice. All of this is critical and important. And there's a reason why I'm spending so much time talking about this, because I know it's common. I know it's a common, I know it's important, and I know that there's someone who is going to see this somewhere and think about this. Think about ways of protecting yourself. Lo tirtach velo techete, Eliyahu Navi says. You don't need to be a prophet for this. But you know how do you prevent sin? By not becoming angry. That takes work, but if you do the work on that end, then the sin is not going to happen because you're in control. Yirah Tzom Be'ezrat Hashem, I hope that we could really instill within our minds that Ribono Shel Olam is running the world. Hashem is running the world, and there's no reason to get angry. There's no reason to get angry, and with that, hopefully, all of our relationships will be good. B'ezrat Hashem, all of our actions will be good. We'll be proud of everything that we do, and everyone around us will be happy as well. Because if not, Chas v'Shalom, it could be the opposite. B'ezrat Hashem, I hope and pray that we all will be able to be in control of our emotions and have a very a home filled with Shalom Bayit. Hazak Baruch, everyone. Have a good night.